Well, hello world. How's everyone doing? Let me know, guys, when y'all are just coming in, if you can hear me okay. Is it a little too much? Like, can you hear too much air flowing? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Can you hear too much air flowing? That's what I need to know. I sound good. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me. Guys, we got a lot to cover. I'm actually doing this a little bit earlier than I normally do. That's because I have a billion and two things to do today. So we're going to cover it earlier. There's probably not going to be as many people on, but they can watch the replay. Thank you to the replay members. I appreciate you. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. I appreciate your support. Um, so today we're going to be talking about a couple things. There is a interview that in print from the Johnson City Press that the Wells did shortly after Summer went missing. I have questions on it. Second, we are going to be watching um, the interview room with Chris McDonough, some clips on what uh, Allison's mother and Leslie said. Um, so there is a few ground rules that I do want to make clear for my mods in the chat. And a couple of them are please be respectful to Hunter H. Please be respectful to him. He is a young, he's a child still. He's still a child. And the kid has had to deal with more things than a lot of adults already have in his short life. Second of all, please don't state things that are fact as if they are fact, if they are your opinion. If it is your opinion, please write in my opinion or IMO. Uh, Third of all, please be respectful to everyone in this video and be respectful to. One second. Um, and please be respectful to my friend Chris McDonough from the interview room. Whether you have differing opinions of him or not, A, he is a friend of this channel. B, he has given us so much of what we still use to this very day, which happened in the beginning of when Summer went missing. Anything that is disrespectful to all of these things that I just mentioned, you will first be warned and then you will be blocked. We don't mind we don't mind you being respectful about disagreeing with something, but hatred will not be tolerated on my platform. Um, so I just want to make that extraordinarily clear. Um, and yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So those are the ground rules. And also, uh, please do not put that Summer was abused because we do not know that. And if it is not a fact, then don't put it as a fact. It just, uh, we really this case has been blown out of proportions in many ways, and it is just went off every way possible. So we just want to cut down on as much misinformation. That way, things are not stated as fact. So there's that. But so I really appreciate you all being here. We're going to first go over the interview that the Wells did shortly after Summer went missing. All of the links are shared in the description underneath this video for you guys watching in the live chat. For those watching in the replay, you will have links to the video and the channels that we play, and also this article that we are about to read. So, pardon me. This is from the Johnson City Press from July 13th, 2021. So, virtually a month, almost a month, right, after Summer went missing. The best way to remember, the best way to get the best answers, our minds change over time, our memory change over time, and it's best to go back to the beginning of what these people said, because A, they can change their story, and B, their memories can fade. So we're going to read this, and there's something in this interview that bothers me. And then we're going to go over and listen to the interview room with Chris McDonough, with the one Allie and all of them talked about. Pardon me. June 13, 2021 is when this article came out. Rogersville, nearly a month after 5-year-old Summer Wells disappeared from her rural Hawkins County home, her father has all but given up on ever seeing her alive again. Quote, and here's the famous quote, "I will see her in the resurrection," end quote, Don Wells said Monday. Wells spoke with the Times News on Monday about how his family has been coping with the loss of Summer over the past 4 weeks. Outside influences such as social media and the need to continue living their lives. Wells was at work at the time of Summer's disappearance on the evening of June 15th. Now, I'm going to say this, in this article, it states it as fact, or they are taking the words of Don as, because he said he was at work. I have never personally been able to find out that he was at work personally. So there's that. But anyway, just a side note. Summer's mother, Candus Wells, and her 3 brothers. I want you to listen to this part. This is what really bothers me here. Summer's mother, Candus Wells, and her 3 brothers reported to police that Summer was last seen on June 15th around 5:30. What's the problem right there, guys? What, do y'all see any issue right there? 5:30. 5:30. Now, remember, the call didn't happen till when? 6:30. Actually, it was like 6:36, I think. Going into the basement of their home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community of Hawkins County. Don Wells has believed since day one that Summer was abducted from their home. He said that belief was quickly confirmed by the search dogs that picked up her scent in the backyard and followed a, quote, dog trail, end quote, through the woods and ended at Ben Hill Road. Quote, this is Donald Wells' quote, "We've had several people sneaking around there, but we've had them sneaking around at night," Wells said. "We've never had somebody up there at 5:30 in the afternoon that we know of." Now that's an interesting thing to say, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's an interesting. You've never had somebody up there at 5:30 in the middle of summer. It doesn't get dark till nearly 9 o'clock. Just my opinion, though. 5:30 in the afternoon that we know of. They didn't come up the driveway. They came up a dog trail from the woods. The police canine dog that they used, that's where the scent took them. Down through the woods, not the driveway. At Ben Hill Road is where the dog's scent ended. I already knew all that, but that just confirmed it for me. How did he already know that? Just asking. Wells added, quote, "It's really discouraging. Only God can turn this around at this point. The police can't come up with anything. All these people on Facebook all over the world can't come up with anything. Nobody can. Only God can. Somebody was ... hiding in the weeds there waiting for her to go in the basement." First of all, how would they have known that she was ever going to be going in the basement? Do you think someone is going to sit around waiting for someone to go in the basement? And how do you know she was going to be in the basement? How would you know that Summer was going to be in the basement? You would either A, have to be in the basement, or, which is a very dangerous, high risk thing to do, to just lay in somebody's basement when there's adults around, multiple kids, and them catch you. And B, if you was outside of that door, which they had it covered up anyways to you where you couldn't see from the inside. So how would you know she was ever in the basement from the outside? This person's not going to just stand at a door, even if you could see through the windows. This person is not going to just stand there at the door when grandma's, campers right there and the kids are, out everywhere. and dogs, but yet Dawn says all of the dogs were gone. I'm going to show you guys something in a little bit on the Chris McDonough with the interview room video. That's something Allie said, and it's something we know uh, about the dogs whenever Summer went missing. That, in my opinion, I strongly disagree with what Dawn is saying. So, all right. Hiding in the weeds there, waiting for her to go in the basement. Her mothers and brothers weren't 30 feet away when she got gone. When she got gone. Now, how is your family coping a month later? Wells, my wife isn't doing too good. She's pretty upset. She has some anger issues and all this stuff on social media. Right now, she's so tore up, and it's just getting worse for her. It's bad for me too. I'd do anything to have my baby back. I've got to put my faith in God. If it wasn't for that, I would have lost it a long time ago. The interviewer now asked, how are your three sons doing? Don Wells, quote, they're coping with it okay. I don't know why, but they're dealing with it okay. They're doing a lot better than me and Candus are. Maybe my kids are looking at it like maybe God will bring her back. I don't know. Statistically speaking, there's a good chance she's already dead. I hate to think that. I love her with all my heart. If nothing else, I'll see her in the resurrection. As long as I keep the commandments and do what I'm supposed to do, I'll see her. End quote. So, thank you so much for your support, Susan. I really do appreciate it. It really means a lot. So, thank you. Very kind, my dear. So, you most parents usually they can't even say that their child is dead. Some even decades later without answers, right? Some way down the line still can't even say. Now, this is Dawn saying, 30 days later, she's statistically, she's probably already dead. That is true. Yes, that is true. He's not wrong, but it's just an odd thing for, in my opinion, for a parent to say, talking about statistics when they just want their kid, right? Wells, okay, any concerns about sending your sons back to school? Wells, excuse me, we don't have a choice. We were sending them down to the school bus stops on Beach Creek Road by themselves, but I don't think we'll ever do that again. Um, this is another thing that really bothers me. I mean, I would agree with Don. After my kid was, if my kid was abducted, right? What? I mean, you would never send your kids probably down to the bus again. But my question also is, knowing that you thought Summer was abducted in the very beginning, Why did Candus and Grandis say, literally, we sent them to the bottom of the hill and prayed to God they wouldn't get abducted too? That is something that came out of Candus's and Grandis's mouth. We sent them to the bottom of the hill praying to God they wouldn't get abducted too, searching for their daughter, their granddaughter. That's a problem, in my opinion. Wells stated that the family is attempting to return to some resemblance of normal life. He said, quote, I've made up my mind not to let Satan win, end quote. And the interviewer asked, how do you do that? Don replies, quote, not let him get me down. I could be down and not go back to work and let it affect me in every way, but I can't do that. I've still got to move forward. I've still got to go to work. I've still got to try, even though I miss her. We live in an evil world. I'm not the first one to lose a family member. All sort of tragedies have happened since the beginning of creation. There's been all kinds of bad stuff going on, end quote. He also stated that despite issues with alcohol, I'm not going to let Satan convince me to go drinking, end quote. Well, that didn't last. Wells, I'm not going down that road. I choose life. I choose God. Before in my career, I was weaker. Sorry, I choose God. Before in my life, I was weaker, and just the least little thing would be an excuse to go get drunk. Not no more. There is, this is the most horrific thing that could even thought of happening, end quote. Has your, the interviewer asked, has your theory about what happened to Summer changed? Dawn says, quote, no, she's been abducted in my mind 100%. I know Candus wouldn't lie to me about any of the facts. She has no reason to, and she wouldn't lie, end quote. He didn't ask if Candus did that. He just asked, has anything in your theory changed what happened about what happened to Summer? He didn't ask about Candus or anything else. He just said, no, she's been abducted in my mind 100%. I know Candus wouldn't lie to me. Nobody asked anything about Candus. Nobody said she was, so. All right. Now, the interviewer asked, how would how did the lie detector test play into the investigation? Mr. Wells, quote, at first, I didn't get no sleep for 2 days. I couldn't sleep for 2 days. It was the worst misery and pain I have ever felt in my life. I wasn't able to take a lie detector test. They made me wait a little bit, but when I did take it, I passed. They made Candus wait 5 days longer to take hers. She just wasn't able to. She tried and she wasn't able to. People are saying we failed and we took another test. That's not the case. So when we did take them, we both passed. Now, that is an interesting thing. Um, Candus had to wait an additional 5 days. Now, it is rumored, which is just a rumor, this is not a fact, that Candus didn't actually complete the polygraph that she did do. But I guess the questions that were asked, allegedly, were passed. But we have, well, and that's another thing. That's another thing. You can't even take any blood pressure medicine. You can't take any sort of medication when you are on doing a lie detector test. Blood pressure medication, it measures your blood pressure, obviously. You can't take any antidepressants. You can't take any alcohol. And if you've had that in your system, then it is it's considered a flawed test. So there's that. The interviewer asked, did they ever do any questionings of your sons? Mr. Wells says, quote, they took them into specialists because they couldn't come out and question them. But yes, they have questioned them. They also gave my mother-in-law a lie detector test, and she also passed. Don always gives more than the interviewer asked in a lot of, in cases. He just went ahead and added the mother-in-law in there as well. The interviewer asked, is social media still affecting your family? Mr. Wells says, quote, someone made a fake social media account of me, and then they put on there that I buried some other woman's body at a lake. So the TBI has taken, so the TBI has been at the lake looking for her body. It's just ridiculous that people are doing, and these psychics with what? I'm sorry. Does anyone remember that they was looking at for a body? Because they said Don buried woman. And these psychics and what they're saying and doing whatever they can to get their story out there, the Bible says clearly it's an abomination. When you're with a psychic and you think you're talking to your dead relatives, that's untrue. Jesus made it clear that when you die, you sleep until the resurrection. You have no conscious state whatsoever. So if you're talking to somebody, it's an evil spirit. Okay. Just trying to remember the early days, Wells said in the past month that he's been like that the last month has been like a bad dream. But he is hanging on his memories of Summer. Summer stands 3 feet tall. She is 40 pounds with blonde hair, blue eyes. She was last seen wearing gray pants and a pink shirt and might have been barefoot. Anyone who has seen Summer or has information on her whereabouts is asked to call Hawkins County Sheriff's Office at 423-272-7121 or TBI at 1-800-TBI-5. So that is a little interesting.
Life can be a lot sometimes, but at Holston Medical.
we'll see what this is. And now I want to go over to the interview room and listen to the early days of what everyone was saying, because there has been so much he said, she said, they said, this happened, that didn't happen, Oops, hold on one second.
I guess, we're coming up on a very sad milestone tomorrow, with being the fourth week. Basically a month since summer went missing, and I just wanted to check in with you all and see, if there had been any new developments or anything had changed.
Nothing.
No.
It's real discouraging. Only God can turn this around at this point, That's it.
How is your family coping?
No, my wife ain't doing too good. She's not doing too good at all. She's pretty upset.
I can imagine. Is she needing help or anything, or?
No, just kind of some anger issues, and all this stuff on social media is just
I know that's out of line. That stuff's out of line. Way out of line.
Yeah.
How are your kids doing?
They're coping with it okay. They're doing okay. I'm upset. I've just made the decision. I made up my mind not to let Satan win.
How do you do that? What steps do you take personally?
To not let Satan win?
Yeah.
Not let him get down. Not to, I could be down and not go back to work and let it affect me in every way, but I can't do that.
Well, you've still got a family to raise also, I guess, too, don't you?
So I still got to move forward. I still got to go to work. I still got to try, even though I miss her and wish to God it was a way, but we live in an evil world. I ain't the first one, to lose a family member, or all kind of tragedies been happening since the beginning of this our creation. There's been all kind of bad stuff going on. It does seem kind of like a bad dream or whatever. Yeah, it does. And my memories of summer and everything, that's what kills me, because we had such a great love for each other. She loved me, and I don't know why I've never had someone love me that much in my life. And so it's been awesome, between me and her. And so it's killed me since she's been gone. It's just, at first it was just so horrific knowing that someone abducted her and the cops are looking all around her house, knowing that she's not there. It's like, It's like you just talking to yourself. This ain't doing no good. But I wish the police would have blocked off both ends of Beach Creek and everything else and kept it contained in our area, because I'm sure she's hundreds of miles away. I can't blame them or whatever, but I'm upset. I'm really upset, But it's too little, too late now.
I guess this is probably, I don't know if this is something that has been in your family's mind, but you've got to kind of move on with the business of living. And I guess one of the things is your kids have to go back to school, and I was wondering if you all had given any thought to that, and if that's something that's going to be hard to do, to take them back to school.
Well, I don't know why, but they're dealing with it okay, more than me. They're doing a lot better than me and Candus are.
Mm-hmm.
Not why that is, but I don't know. Because when I was in school, one of my guys, that one of the kids that was in school with us, bought his son a shotgun, and somehow it accidentally went off and killed his dad right in front of him. And we never did see that kid back in school again, but that was his daddy, though. There's a difference, I guess. But I mean, maybe my kids are looking at it like, well, maybe God will bring her back, or I don't know. But statistically speaking, I mean, there's a good chance she's already dead if you look at it statistically. And I hate to think that. I love her with all my heart, but only God, if nothing else, I'll see her in the resurrection. As long as I keep the commandments and I do what I'm supposed to do, I'll see her in the commandments. If that's the case, in the resurrection.
So is it going to be just kind of back to business when school starts and the kids are going to go back?
Yeah, we ain't got a choice. We don't have a choice,
I was just wondering if there was maybe any kind of fear or concern just to let them out of your sight after.
Well, yeah, definitely. We was sending them down, to the school bus by themselves, but I don't think we'll ever do that again.
Do they get picked up at the end of your road there on Beach Creek?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And of course, you're back to work, and the kids are going back to school. So it seems like there's no choice but to try to return to some sort of normalcy within this horrible event.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to let Satan convince me to go drinking or whatever. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going down that road. I choose life. Choose God. And that's probably, I've never, before in my life I was weaker, and just the least little thing would be the excuse to go get drunk or whatever, but not no more. Not. And this is the most horrific thing that I could have ever even thought of happening.
Has your theory about what happened to Summer changed any since we spoke a couple weeks ago?
No, she was abducted. There's, I forget how you put that, reasonable deduction, or however you say that. You get taught in school, but by that theory there, yeah, she's been abducted in my mind, 100%. I know Candus wouldn't lie to me about any of the facts. She has no reason to, I mean, she wouldn't lie.
I think somebody said, or you told the media that she was lie detector test, and you took one also. And,
yeah.
Well, and that you all were cleared of any suspicion that was, based on that.
Well, I don't know if we were completely cleared, because that's not admissible in court.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both, I mean, at first, I didn't get no sleep for 2 days. I couldn't sleep. I was, it was the worst misery and pain I've ever felt in my life. But I wasn't able to even take a lie detector test. They made me wait a little bit, but when I did take it, I passed. They made Candus wait 5 days longer to take hers, because she just wasn't able to. She tried, and she wasn't able to. It's not, people are saying that we failed and we took another test. That's not the case. We just weren't able to. So when we did take them, we both passed, our tests.
I imagine that if it measures changes in your blood pressure or something based on if you tell a lie, your blood pressure changes. But if you're tore all to pieces, then your blood pressure is probably changing anyways.
Well, the way it works is kind of it measures your brain's activity too. And whenever you lie, you have to think about that lie. When you stick with the truth, it just comes out. The truth is the truth. when you lie, you got to think about that for a little bit, and your heart might jump just a little bit or whatever. You know, they look at all that. Yeah.
So
Now, we talked about this last night. Nearly 2 years later, Don and Candus have still not been cleared. Almost 2 years. And after they allegedly passed each polygraph, why haven't they been able to be cleared? Don should be the very easiest one to clear because he was allegedly at work. If he is at work, they should be able to say, we know the father has nothing to do with this. Yet nobody is cleared in this case. Nobody whatsoever that we're aware of. And you can't clear the parents should be cleared within, the first few days. That's the first people you want to be able to clear. So why is that? That is a huge problem for me.
It's easy to tell the truth, put it that way.
yeah.
You know.
So did they? I know this is a hard question to ask, but did they ever do any question of your sons also, or any kind of?
Yeah, they've taken them into specialists because they can't come out and question them. But yes, they have questioned all of them.
Mm-hmm.
They even give mother-in-law lie detector tests.
Oh wow!
And she also passed.
Okay. So this, I didn't go up to your house when they took the roadblock down. I didn't want to just bust up there and uninvited, but I did go to the end of your driveway and look up. And yeah. That for somebody to go up there and not knowing what they're going to find, it seems highly unlikely because that's straight up, and you can't see where you're going. You don't know what's ahead of you. And
we've had several people sneaking around there, though, and that's, we've had them sneaking around at night, in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And we've never had somebody up there at 5:30 in the afternoon that we know of.
So the interviewer here is saying for someone to go up there and not know what they're going to find, in the middle of nowhere is very odd. It's very odd. And just look at the vegetation, right? And to go up there when there is adults up there, whenever 3 boys were home alone all day. Now, when we get into our next interview with the interview room, we're going to talk about Candus and some jealousy that has been noted. And listen, Don's jealous too. But we're going to talk about some things about jealousy and all of that. So just kind of remind me about that if you can. I'll see if I don't remember it. But yeah, and Don says, I don't know anybody who has been up at our house at 5:30 in the afternoon. Well, 5:30 is not late, but remember the TBI said that she went missing in early afternoon. The first call went in at 6:30. In this interview, Don says 5:30. He always has disputed Well, I thought it was 5:30. They've always said 6:30, but I've always said 5:30. That has always been a problem for me. I feel like there's a hiccup somewhere between 5:30 and 6:30. There's a hiccup. There's a reason he wants, in my opinion, for people to think 5:30, even though the call went in at 6:30. Early afternoon is definitely not 5:30. TBI said she went missing early afternoon, which is classified from 1, or maybe it's 12 to 3 o'clock, which is 5:30 and 6:30, 6:36 when the call went in. That's a lot later.
You know, but they didn't come up the driveway. They come up a dog trail from the woods.
Oh, okay.
They didn't come up the driveway. And that dog that they used, that's where the scent took them, was down through the woods, not the driveway.
Where did the dog scent end?
At the road, Ben Hill Road is where the dog scent ended.
Oh, man.
Yep. So that right there, you know, I already knew all that, but that there just confirmed it for me.
Yeah. Do you believe that she's still alive? Do you have any intuition that she might still be out there somewhere?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
All I know is you know, I believe in God. I don't believe in any psychic stuff.
Oh man, that stuff's horrible that they've had on. I've seen it on YouTube. That's terrible. Why would somebody? That's the morals of a person that would put that out there. What they've been saying.
We had somebody made a fake account of me, and then they put on there to some other woman that I buried her body at the lake, and so if the TBI has been out the lake, they couldn't get a hold of me because I was in church, but they've been out there looking for her body. It's just ridiculous what people are doing, and they're going with these psychics and what they're saying and doing whatever they can to get their story out there. But the Bible says clearly it's an abomination.
Right.
Because when you do a psychic and you're talking, you know, to your dead relatives or whatever, that's untrue, because Jesus made it clear that when you die, you sleep until the resurrection. You are in no conscious state whatsoever. You are just unconscious, asleep, as Jesus put it, until the resurrection. So if you're talking to somebody, it's an evil spirit.
Let me ask you this: is there anything that your family needs? Like, is there anything that the community can do aside from tipsters and things like that and information? But is there anything that you people in your family need that the community can help
the only thing that, I think we're good on everything. The only thing that I wish is, you know, there's a country that, and the way these kids are coming up missing left and right, and all the drugs, man, we need to send our military into our own country. You know, that's my opinion. We send our military everywhere in the world to fight terrorism. Well, I think it's time we turn them into our own country to fight terrorism. They can't seem to catch these guys nowhere. We need our military.
Mm-hmm.
You know, put them to some good use. I mean,
how things are going? Is she up to that?
Right now, she's so tore up and stuff. It's just getting worse for her.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, and it's bad for me too. I'd do anything to have my baby back, but I got to put my faith in God. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I would have lost it a long time ago. So, I mean, I got to, you know, pray to Him and pray that she's okay, that He'll pull her through with His mighty right arm, with His mights, whatever. But something like God, because the police can't come up with nothing. Now, all these people on Facebook all over the world can't come up with nothing. Nobody can. Only God can.
Right. This is, in 30 years, I've never seen anything like this happen.
Me either. I mean, I've never seen it in my life. I mean, when I lived in Houston, Texas, when I was a kid, it was pretty bad out that way. But yeah, all kind of crazy stuff out there. But
there was never somebody that just disappeared without a clue that I know of. I'm sure it happens, but not that I've ever seen in my life.
Well, when there's an abduction, I mean, what else would you call it?
Yeah.
Disappearing. I don't understand that. You know. But yeah, if somebody was either hiding in the weeds there, waiting for shade, either come in the basement. But yeah, I mean, we weren't 30 feet. They weren't 30 feet away when she got gone. Yeah. I mean, maybe 40 at the most.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
So somebody got her.
Well, I sure appreciate you talking to me. I didn't want to call too much and be a pest, but after, it's been a couple of weeks, I wanted to check back in with you.
Okay, sir. I appreciate you.
Okay. All right. Take care. I'll be praying for you.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You too. Thank you. Bye.
So there we have it. A very interesting interview. Thank you for this appreciation. How does he know so much about abduction? The door was locked, and who had the key? Yes, it's interesting you mentioned that girl, because the interview that we're going to play with Chris McDonough did in the very beginning, shortly after Summer went missing. Allie and them was on a FaceTime app, if you will, Facebook, Messenger video. And very interesting thing that Allie says. So, mods, if you guys will please put Chris's the interview room in chat. If you haven't subscribed to Chris's channel, please subscribe. And again, mods, if you could please put the rules in the chat, because we don't want misinformation. It's okay to have an opinion, but just please put "in my opinion," and like hatred toward any other creators and the essay allegations and stuff we don't want to talk about. So with that being said, the links to that article is in the description for you guys in the chat, and for the replay, and also this interview is in the description as well. Go back and watch some of these old interviews that Chris did. They're very important. They're very important because this was the beginning. So much has been said, so much has been lost since then. And these are everything that we know about everything in this case is because of these interviews. So this was a year ago from the interview room, uncut interview with Allison Hunter, Leslie, great grandma, Summer Wells, the interview with Chris McDonough. Credit goes to him. We're going to stop and talk about things as thank you so much.
Okay. And you're a great grandma, so you have that sense on whether you can tell, right? I mean, knowing, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, when were the highs and when were the lows?
Well, we did. She had went to Utah, Wisconsin, over the summertime. She came back just before school started for the kids. And we did family things with my kids and her kids.
Right. And your mom?
Walks and hikes. Nope, my mom had a falling out with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think the money was going.
I don't know.
What's your gut?
Probably drugs.
Okay. What kind of drugs?
Well, she came out and told me she was a recovering meth addict.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't strike me as having the characteristics of somebody who is obviously under the influence of meth all the time. Sorry? Booze. Does she drink a lot?
Oh yeah, every night at 5:30.
I'm not saying she didn't do meth. Don't misunderstand me, right? I mean, I don't know.
She never did it for me. She always smoked weed.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
Who
she
doesn't
drinks.
smoke weed today, though, right?
Me.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, oh, yeah. So we got 4 at the table here. Okay.
And I can't afford it. She drinks every night.
At least Leslie said
She
she's
drinks
on.
a nice sized bottle of R&R every
Okay.
night.
Okay.
I mean a nice sized jar.
How about a lot of times in this area, I know there's a big meth problem. What other kind of drugs are on the streets? In that time, how was she treating the children?
She'd smack them and beat them.
When describe that.
Well, let's see. One time her son wanted a drink. She said no. He threw a fit on the floor, so she went over and wailed his ass.
Is that normal? Would you describe that as a mom, from your mom's position? Would that be out of the norm, or even that raised your eyebrows?
It raised my eyebrows. Like, I don't beat my kids.
Okay. Did you say anything to her?
I said, why'd you hit him for?
Ask her who unplugged the freezer.
Not me.
What hose unplugged? Now we can't have pizza snacks.
Well, plug it back in.
I did.
Okay, so this is Allison and Allison's mother, and then Leslie. Leslie, you can't see, she's off camera, and of course Chris with the interview room. This is H's mother, the woman in pink, and the woman in blue is H's grandmother. And then Leslie, who is no longer with us, she is sitting off of the camera, but she is a friend of the family, but more like a family member.
But in between this, you should ask Leslie. Because Leslie was there before all this.
So you've known Candus longer?
No.
Oh.
No, I met Candus on her birthday. See, me and her worked together.
Okay.
So I came over for her birthday party. And they had a swimming pool up out back. As a little swimming pool. And her kids and Candus's kids was playing in the pool. And some of the kids had got out and was eating a snack while we was cooking hamburgers and stuff. And 2 of her boys was in the pool and they was horse playing. And this really, what she done really got to me.
Okay.
I mean, they're kids, they're going to play in the pool.
Right.
They're going to get rough. You know, they're boys.
Right.
And because they got rough, horse playing in the pool, she made them get out. And back here behind the house, there's a driveway. And she made the 2 boys get out of the pool, wet, and lay down, stomach down, on blacktop.
It was hot. Really hot.
That left an impression with you.
It left an impression so bad. I looked at her and Allison's mom, Sherry. I said, I do not like this bitch. Straight up. And
So Leslie she was interviewed, and that is a big allegation, right? That, kids are kids. They horseplay, they're rough with each other, all that, especially when they're playing in the pool and all that. But allegedly, Candus got mad and made two of the boys get out and lay their belly on the hot asphalt cement. And this, according to Leslie, really obviously bothered her. And she said, I don't like that B, meaning Candus. We'll continue.
I told Allison, I said, this swimming pool is going down. I said, those kids did not deserve that. I walked out, picked the swimming pool up, and dumped it. Turned around and walked back in the house. I did not want to be around her the rest of the evening. I didn't, because if I would have been, honestly, I would have went to jail.
Right.
Now, I personally believe Leslie in this, and the reason I do is this is a very detailed, off-the-cuff story. You know, you just don't make up something like that as you're talking, you know. And, you know, Grandma and Allie said, well, tell them what, you know, the first time you met her. So I personally do believe this.
And you want to ask me how I felt about that? That is abuse. Those children could have got seriously burnt.
Right. No, I agree. I agree that if that ground is just unbelievably hot.
And with them being wet.
Right. Yeah, it's just like oil and water and grease. It just fries them up. How did she react?
She just laughed.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
Her and her mom both just laughed.
Well, that certainly has left an impression on you, Leslie.
Yes, it does. I don't like her. I have nothing for her.
Right.
And I told that one right there when we was at work.
Right.
Every day she was off work, she was at Walmart spending money for them.
Okay.
Every day.
For the children. I know what you mean by for them, for the children, am I right? I mean, helping the kids move forward.
Those kids all day dollar pizzas.
How do they have the cars that they drive? That kind of stuff.
The ones that are on the property, see, I only knew that at first, when I first met them, I only knew that Candus had a green Suburban. Donnie had a black truck, which Candus had sold when she came back from her trip from Wisconsin. She sold her husband's truck because he took his white truck with him to Utah.
Okay.
And there's other trucks on the property too that were not sold yet. There was a blue one that used to sit as you came out her front door. It used to sit right there in the yard.
Okay.
Next to the tree where the swing was.
Okay.
That's been moved over by the mother's trailer.
Since the incident?
Get it right, the mother's camper.
Well, the mother's camper, I call it trailer. But from what I've seen in the pictures, it's been moved over by the camper.
No,
But it didn't have any wheels.
It didn't have no wheels, no insides. It didn't even have an engine.
So let's talk about the day.
The house was filthy.
Yes.
You tell her that. You tell her
The
that.
house was nasty.
I didn't go up there because I didn't like her.
Just send me
I
a
always
text
stay
on
here.
what you want.
What's your impression of Dawn?
Yeah.
He seemed like an outgoing guy at first. You know, he has his
I'm
problems.
positive.
Like we all do,
Yep.
right?
In that, they never mentioned the Subaru, by the way, which I thought was kind of interesting. Don't you think? There was something I was going to say. Hold on 1 second. The Suburban brought again and the black truck was sold. Okay.
He loved Summer to death.
Yeah.
That was his pride and joy.
Yeah.
That was his pride and joy.
Is he still around? There's a rumor that he's kind of evaporated. Is that true? If you know.
The last time I knew, he was around.
Okay. And of course, you know how things are. You know, people don't know unless they're here, right?
He's been acting a little loony on Facebook lately.
Yeah. Oh boy.
And on the his interviews on TV.
Right.
Like, first he started saying stuff about God and how he wanted the people that stole his daughter punished by cruel means, and then he went to saying something about Jezebel.
I still don't understand how they got the Subaru. That is still not made sense to me to this day. Now, the Subaru is paid off. But someone would have had to co-sign for them if, and Dawn said they had a big payment on it. She said the blue truck was with no engine nor wheels, sit over by the swing, and has been moved after someone went missing. Mohawk says, I think they did not mention the Subaru because of them falling out with the family. I mean, I don't think that was a buy here, pay here. No, I don't think it was a buy here, pay here. It could have been a big down payment, but where would they have got the money for a big down payment?
And now everyone has to answer to the prophet, like, weird.
Yeah, but he has really hurt this family.
By throwing me and my son under the bus? Oh.
Well, people do different things. Penny, for your thoughts, Leslie. Where are you at?
Yeah, someone mentioned like the stimulus checks, but didn't they get that? They got the Subaru in like December or January, didn't they? The Subaru still ran even though it had a bad transmission. The Suburban, rather. Don drove it down to a press release. It's now paid off. Yeah, but there wasn't stimulus. Was there stimulus checks? When did COVID start? I don't even remember when it started. What year? Don said he was paying $600 a month. Yeah.
Honestly, I think Candy's done something to her because Candus was jealous of that little baby.
Why though? Why would
because that baby was getting Donnie's attention.
Oh, okay. So it's a pull between dad or the child.
See, and a little
Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
And a little dark secret that no one knows. Candace's mom told me this one. When they found out that they were pregnant with Summer, Candace's mom was supposed to adopt Summer.
Because she was a girl.
Because she was a girl.
Oh, interesting.
She wanted boys. But Donnie
wanted a girl.
Yeah.
And he got his girl.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, I was muted. I was saying that we were talking about Candus and stuff being jealous in the article we were talking about earlier. Now, this is Leslie saying, could y'all hear that? Leslie and them talking that she, in her opinion, believes Candus did something to Summer because she believed that she was jealous. And to be honest with you, it makes you wonder because according to Allie, if you believe Allie, she says that, Candus really didn't want a girl, that grandma was going to, take her at one point, but Donnie wasn't really, Donnie always wanted a daughter. Now, it also makes you wonder, there's 3 boys and 1 girl. Why did the girl, meaning Summer, out of 3 boys and 1 girl, why did the girl, meaning Summer, go missing? You have a more, having 4 kids, you have a more likelihood of a boy going missing because you have more boys than girls, right? Did something happen? Was there a jealousy issue? We know that Don and Candus are both extraordinarily jealous of each other, of any persons that they give attention to, whether it be, an adult outside of marriage, Don fooling around and all that. But then, in my opinion, Candus is very childlike in her, the way her upstairs is, I guess you could say. So, it just makes you wonder, in my opinion.
So
Honestly, I don't feel that Donnie has anything to do with it. I may be wrong.
Was he at work that day? Do you know?
We don't know for sure.
Okay. Does anybody know for sure? Who would I talk to that would know that?
Probably the TBI.
Yeah, I don't want to go to TBI right now. They're doing their own thing, and I don't want to get involved in that piece of it. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I don't want to jeopardize any type of information they may have, or that kind of stuff.
When she would have Summer, even here, and if I was here, I would keep my distance because I didn't like the way she done her kids.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, call DCS, call DCS. DCS has been called so many times on this woman, it's not even funny. So what the Facebook people don't realize, there has been people try to step in.
No.
She avoids them.
Sure.
Like
sure.
the plague.
Okay.
She would see them pull in her driveway, she would lock the door and not let them in. So I mean, what
and then they would make appointments with them.
Right, I get it.
To come back and do their house check and, the pee test, and they would avoid them.
So I have a question for you. That day, walk me through what you remember.
I remember her showing up that morning.
And what time was that?
About 10, between 10 and 10:30.
All right.
So between 10 and 10:30, according to Allie. Now, remember, Don says he left about 6:30, 7 o'clock. So then they, Candus, Grandus, Summer go take Grandus to the hospital. They drop her off at the hospital. They sit in the parking lot a little bit. And then either Candus calls H or H calls Candus. Now, listen to what Allie says. Why Candus was going to pick up Hunter.
She asked if Hunter could go fishing with her in summer because her mother was in the emergency room because of her knee.
Okay.
Because I guess a couple weeks back, they took her a trip to Gatlinburg and the boys were kicking the grandmother in the knee.
Oh my.
She didn't have the boys with them that day.
She didn't have any of the boys.
So it was just Summer and Candus. And Grandma.
Yep.
Was Grandma in the truck as well? Or in the vehicle?
Not when they first picked Hunter up, no.
Okay. So she comes
She was
over.
at the hospital.
Okay, so she comes over. What vehicle is she driving?
She was driving her mom's Silverado.
Okay, that's what I remember you saying. That's why I said. And does she stop where? Right about, right out front.
Between the pole?
Boom. So the original was they were going fishing. However, this was a unplanned trip. They were just going to take Grandis to the hospital, sit out in the parking lot. One of them called one another, and now they're going on a fishing trip. Also, there were 3 boys left alone in that home that day. And there was a little girl named Summer Wells with Candus that day. And later on in the day, at some point, allegedly after she gets home, she goes missing. Did something happen at the water pond? Was she sick? Did she hit her head? Anything? And things just spiraled downhill. But just continue listening to this. Listen to Allie's words.
In my mailbox.
Okay.
To pick Hunter up.
All right.
She came in, she goes, "Can Hunter go fishing with me for a little while?" I said, "Sure."
Did she text you before?
Nope, she just
showed up.
Can Hunter go fishing with me for a little while? Wow. You don't have fishing poles? I never heard them say, they went and got bait or anything, because now it later turns to a swimming.
Yep.
How did that strike you?
She was always trying to show and talk to me. She was the first, when me and her stopped talking, she was stopping by my mom's, talking to the kids, talking to my mom, unexpectedly, And, I didn't think anything of it at that time. I'm like, okay, yeah, Hunter can go fishing. He loves Summer to death. That's like his little sister.
They're budge.
Yep. She's like a daughter to me. And, I didn't hear from him for a while. She dropped Hunter off between 2 and 2:30, right where your truck is.
Okay.
But her front end was facing the telephone pole.
Okay, so according to Allie, she, meaning Candus, dropped Hunter off at 2 or 2:30. That's important.
So she's going this direction?
Yes.
Okay.
When she dropped Hunter off.
Hold on. Another thing I want to say is if you go to the horse pond and you ask the horse pond, the stable there that's beside the horse pond, they will say that one of their vehicles was sitting there nearly all day, which has always confused everyone. So that's what they allege.
It was her mom, Hunter, and Summer. And Summer was leaning against 2 gallons of milk.
Okay.
I said, oh, look at her. You know, I asked her how Summer was, and she was sleeping.
What side of the back seat was she at? Do you remember?
Hunter was on the driver's side, and Summer was right there right there in the middle.
Okay, so it made sense if she's pulling this way that Hunter's going to get out
Yes.
on this side. Okay, it makes sense. Okay. And so she's on the other side or in the middle?
She's in the middle.
Okay.
Like
Against the milk.
against the 2 gallons of milk.
Okay.
I said, oh, look at her. I said, isn't she hot? Like, I said, I wish I could wake her up and, you know, give her a hug. No, you can't.
When the windows
And the windows were up.
What did Hunter say? Because he was sitting next to her.
Hunter said
The windows were up. Why were the windows up? Not cracked. There was no air conditioner. Because Candus herself said they didn't like air conditioner. Why was the windows up? All the way up.
she was alive.
Okay.
That they were watching TikTok videos.
Oh, interesting.
Wait a minute, when they went into the store,
Yep.
they were...
Because Hunter has the timeline of where they went and what they did. And they had stopped at the store before they dropped Hunter off. That's where the 2 gallons of milk came from.
Okay.
And the groceries.
Okay.
And you know, I'm not trying to interrupt your timeline of that day, but I want to suggest they need to go to the Walmart on Fort Henry
Okay.
and have them look back at the cameras because...
Okay, now this doesn't have anything to do with the day Summer went missing, but in my opinion, it has a good thing to do with behavior, the character of Candus around this time.
It was Westone Drive. She can't go to Fort Henry.
Because she got escorted out for the way she was yelling at those kids. Don't you remember?
Oh, yeah.
That day?
No. Prior to that,
Okay.
she had gotten arrested, well, cited on Walmart on Fort Henry Drive property.
Okay.
Her and my mom went to Walmart, and
Louisiana girl, do you know where she said that at? I'd like to find that. But listen to this about the Walmart situation.
had the kids with them. And she wanted them to help her fix a cell phone that she had bought from there. They told her they couldn't do it. Well, I guess she got really mad and upset, and she said...
She went down the toilet.
Well, first, before she went down the toilet, she said something about blowing this place up.
Oh. Yeah.
So they got security.
Tactical error, right?
So they got security. Security called 911.
Sure.
They let her go their own way in the store. They found them in the toy aisle. Brought them up front to the security room. And she was arrested, but she wasn't put in handcuffs or taken down to central office for booking.
Because of COVID.
Because of COVID. She
Got
was released on a ticket.
Got it. OR.
And she's
Own
banned.
reconnaissance.
I guess she's banned from that Walmart.
Okay. So let's.
So the day or days leading up to Summer missing, there's this public outburst of Candus literally throwing a fit in Walmart, screaming at her kids and threatening employees in Walmart, according to Allie and Leslie. And it has also been widely stated that there was an incident at Walmart and Candus isn't allowed at Walmart any longer. They said, I guess, the Walmart on Fort Henry. So was there something going on in Candus's life that she more triggered around this time? Was there more stress happening around their life? Was there could there be more stresses in the home that would trigger a person? It's a question I'm asking. Could there have been more substance abuse, or could there have been coming off of substance and making you grouchy that way? So it's a question that, in my opinion, that needs asked.
To the truck here. Summer's on the other side with the milk. Hunter gets out. You ask Hunter, or you talk to Candus about wanting to talk to Summer.
Yep.
What happens?
She said no. I wasn't allowed to wake her up.
Okay, so she's sleeping?
To me, she appeared sleeping.
Okay, did it look like to you she was sleeping?
At the time, yes.
Okay.
But now that I look back on it, I really don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Rach, that has been alleged as well. Yes, that has been alleged as well. Now, Allie says that they just wouldn't answer the door, but in a previous state that was alleged. Here we have Allie saying that she doesn't know if Summer was alive, but then she'll later say that she thinks she thinks Summer was alive in the truck.
And it just kills me. Because, now that I look back on it, it's like, was she really alive? Was she sleeping?
What's your gut as a mom? I mean, with Hunter coming in and saying, Mom, we were watching TikTok videos. I mean, for her to hurt her between the TikTok video stop and home here with Hunter in the car, that would have been kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, I believe she was alive here.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, where would you put her being alive?
10.
And where would Hunter put her?
At a 10.
Okay.
Because he sat here and he said where exactly what they were doing. She was giggling, watching TikToks and everything. And he said she fell asleep because she was tired. And that was right before they pulled up.
So according to that picture that we saw, if that picture was, and that shot of video was taken on June 15th, and Summer in the back of that truck, I can say that in my opinion, 100% do not think Summer is gone in that video, in that picture. Why? I have seen plenty of deceased people, one, And 2, the way she is sitting, her jaw would have been loose. Whenever you die, your jaw drops, and her collar is fine in that I do not think for a second that Summer is deceased in that video or in that photo personally. Allie says she doesn't believe so. Hunter says he doesn't believe so. Now, according to Age, according to Allie, whenever Candus and Grandis went into that grocery store, they sat out in the car, watched some TikTok videos and all of that, and Summer was fine then. Then, after, I guess, Candus and Grandis get back in the car, Summer said she was tired and she kind of went to sleep closely, according to Allie, after getting close to Allie and H's house.
And then what happened?
They left here around 2:30.
How long were they here?
5-10 minutes.
Did she get out of the truck?
Nope.
Stayed in the truck?
They had to go right away. They wouldn't.
They were parked out there for about 5 minutes because I was talking to them.
I know, but when you started to ask them, they.
Yeah, I said, well, you want to come up on the porch and,
Hang out.
Yeah, like.
And thank you for the invitation, by the way, to come up on your porch. It's very kind.
Because I wanted to hear how the fishing trip went and everything. That's when I found out that they went swimming instead of fishing.
Okay. She told you they went swimming.
Yep.
And where'd she tell you they went?
Stable.
At the Warriors Path, at the stables.
Okay. At the stables?
Yep.
Yeah, because so we went down there, and it looks like it goes right to the water. Miss Leslie, you want to say something? Okay. It goes right to the water, and then there's that path that goes around. Do you know what part of that area they went to? Maybe Hunter can help me. And what I would like to ask, I don't want to get him on camera. Okay, are you all good with that? Okay, but what I would like is maybe turn the chair so he's facing that way, so I can sit on the other side of him, because I think he's got a lot of really important information, and it will do 2 things. And we're going to cut all this, by the way, so don't, do 2 things. Number 1, if he talks about it, okay, it's going to help him, number 1. Number 2, he goes away, and Hunter's able to say, okay, I'm good over here. She's going to feel more comfortable. Okay. The only reason I asked you, I was going to say maybe we can help. But it sounds like you got him.
Oh yeah, he was got 45 minutes after he killed him, because I chased him down.
See, your heart is pure, Miss Leslie.
My daughter
Went in the house.
Okay. Then what happened?
I asked him how fishing went. He goes, we went swimming. Oh, okay.
So after H gets home, he tells his mom, Allie, that we went swimming rather than fishing.
I asked him how his day was. He goes, fine. He didn't tell me anything about what happened.
Nothing.
Nothing. And then his girlfriend's mom came and picked him up about 3 o'clock. And he went with them for a while. Me and Leslie went to the ball field. I left my phone in her car, in her van, because my phone was dead. So we only had hers. We were on the ball field, and we were actually on the opposite side of the ball field. We were watching her grandson practice, because he was playing for the Packers at that time. And her phone rang. It was Hunter. He wanted to speak.
Now listen to this. This is very important. later on that afternoon. They're at the ball field watching her grandson, Leslie's grandson, play practice ball.
Takes me. She gave me the phone. He goes, Mom, you gotta call Candus.
Where was Hunter at when he called you?
He was at his girlfriend's house.
At his girlfriend's house. That's with Leslie.
No.
No, oh, I thought her name was Leslie too.
His girlfriend's name is,
That's okay, I don't need his girlfriend's name.
She's a minor.
Yeah, I don't need his girlfriend's name. Yeah, good
So he
call.
was with
Thank
them.
you.
So H was allegedly at his girlfriend's house when Summer went missing, allegedly.
and he goes, Candus just called me. Summer's missing. You need to call her.
Now, my question is, why does she call a 15-year-old child when her 5-year-old child is missing? Why does she call another child that ages is 10 years difference between the child that is missing, Hunter, versus Summer, 10-year difference, and she doesn't call Allie? Why is she calling Hunter? That is strange to me. I've always wanted to know, do we know for sure that Hunter was, because Allie doesn't have her phone. Okay. That's right. You're right about that. It was dead. You're right. Good point. I digress. Okay. No. No. Okay. Still. Let me think here. So, let me back this up.
So we only had hers. We were
Got my driveway. Sex traffic.
We're in the house.
Okay, then what happened?
I asked him how fishing went. He goes, we went swimming. Oh, okay. You know, I asked him how his day was. He goes, fine. He didn't tell me anything about what happened.
Nothing.
Nothing. And then his girlfriend's mom came and picked him up about 3 o'clock.
So H's girlfriend's mom picks up H around 3 o'clock. This is 3.5 hours before the 911 call.
And he went out. Me and Leslie went to the ball field. I left my phone in her car, in her van, because my phone was dead.
Leslie, it's okay, so Abby leaves her phone in Leslie's car because her phone was dead.
So we only had hers. We were on the ball field, and we were actually on the opposite side of the ball field. We were watching her grandson practice, because he was playing for the Packers at that time. And her phone rang. It was Hunter. He wanted to speak to me. She gave me the phone. He goes, Mom, you gotta call Candus.
Where was Hunter at when he called you?
He was at his girlfriend's house.
Okay, so Hunter calls Leslie's phone. I would still want to know if Candus called Allie first. I mean, she may have, because her phone was dead. We got to give Candus and Dawn the benefit of the doubt on that, to be fair. but still, they called. I guess Candus called H, and H, and H called Leslie so she could talk to his mom.
At his girlfriend's house. That's with Leslie. No. Oh, I thought her name was Leslie too.
His girlfriend's name is,
That's okay. I don't need his girlfriend's name.
She's a minor.
Yeah, I don't need his girlfriend's name. Yeah, good
So
call.
he was with
Thank
them.
you.
And he goes, call me. She said, you need to call her. I said, boy, stop pulling my leg. I don't want to talk to her. So, me and Leslie were talking. I said, I don't believe it. I said, she's probably just pulling my leg trying to get me to talk to her. So, we continued watching the football practice. After practice, we went to the drive-thru at the cookout.
Now, were you guys together?
Yes.
Okay.
We went through the cookout drive-thru because we had ordered dinner. And we were waiting for our food. I turned my phone on, went on Facebook. There it is, plain as day. A picture of Summer missing that was posted by Hawkins County EMS. I said, Leslie, holy shit, she is missing. So I called my mom, told my mom what was going on. She goes, you're joking. I said, no, I'm not. So then I said, okay. But Mama Bear and me kicked in. I called Candus. She didn't answer. We waited till we got here. I called again. She didn't answer. Hunter tried calling her. She didn't answer. My youngest tried calling her. She answered. Finally, she answered on my youngest's Snapchat. I said, what's wrong? She goes, Summer's gone. I said, how could she just be gone? I just seen you guys not that long ago. I said, what happened from the time you guys got home, from the time you guys left my house, up until she went missing? She said, we came home, we planted flowers on the side of the house. We went in Mom's camper to wash our hands. Summer wanted a piece of candy. Grandma gave her a piece of candy. She wanted to go play with the boys inside the house. Candus told me she walked somewhere over to the house, let her go inside. She went back to the camper, fixed Mom's knee, which didn't even take 10 minutes. Then she went back to the house, asked the boys if they'd seen their sister. They said, no, maybe she's downstairs in the cellar playing. And I said, did you check the cellar? She goes, yeah. I checked it for about 20 minutes. I go, okay, was the door shut and locked? She goes, yes.
Okay, now that is an important part. Allie says she alleges that Candus, she asked, was in the cellar. They mean the basement. It actually used to be a cellar. They made it into a living space, which in my opinion, everybody should have been living in that downstairs, but I digress. Allie alleges that she asked Candus, was the door locked? And she says, Candus says, yes, the door was locked.
So that's weird. Like, how does she just come up missing?
And during this conversation, didn't shed a tear. Nothing.
She was walking back and forth in her kitchen playing with her hat on her head.
How do you know that?
Because we were...
It was on video chat.
So you were on video chat during all of this? Okay.
All she was doing was talking and yawning.
And playing with her hat. She's like, well, I'm...
So Allie and them are video chatting with Candus at this time. They're saying Candus is just kind of walking around playing with her hat.
I gotta go to bed soon because I have to get up in the morning because we all have to go down the station to take polygraph test.
Have the cops been there yet?
Yeah, she said her mom was outside talking to him, that she wasn't going to talk to him.
Is that what she said?
Yeah.
That she wasn't going to talk to the police?
Yep.
No.
But her daughter's missing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, then what happened?
And then we didn't hear from her the rest of that night. And then Wednesday.
And what time was this around? Do you remember?
About 11:30, 12 o'clock.
PM? Yeah. So by this time, Summer potentially could have been missing between 6 and 7 p.m.
Hunter called my phone.
Yes.
At the ball field at 7:29.
7:20.
Okay, so between, what they say, between 11 or 11:30, they were talking. And obviously the cops would have been there. Questioning. Candus was supposedly outside talking to authorities. They allege that Candus said she wasn't going to talk to the authorities. And Leslie says that H called Leslie's phone at 7:20 something. So literally almost an hour after the 911 call.
29. Hunter calls.
Yep.
Okay, so
Missing before then.
and so Summer's missing obviously before that time of 7:29.
Who called Hunter?
Candus
did.
At 6:30?
I don't know what time she called him.
Yeah, right now that timeline's unknown.
I think it had to be right around after 7, because he would call his mother first and tell him he would.
Okay. Then what? Then what took place?
So Wednesday.
So you're watching her though at around midnight.
Yeah. There's no emotion.
And she's playing with her
Yeah,
hat.
she's doing this with her hat.
Is she under the influence of anything at that point?
She seemed a little drunk to me.
The drunk?
And high.
Okay. And when you say high, define that for me.
Weed.
Huh?
Weed.
Okay, so like she'd smoke marijuana?
Yep.
Okay. Any other drugs on board, do you think?
Not that I know of.
Okay. From a nurse's perspective, Miss Leslie, what do you think that you've seen?
It wouldn't have put it past me if she hadn't have done a couple of pain pills.
Some pain pills?
Yeah, because I mean, her moods would go like this during the whole interview, during the whole time she was talking to her.
Sure.
And I mean, whenever she would, it was just like she was up like this, and then you could watch her just, just down.
Yeah, highs and low. Right, got it. Now, where are the boys during this chit-chat?
Never heard him.
Never heard him.
Didn't hear him.
Never heard nobody.
Where's Don during all this?
Never heard him.
You didn't hear him either?
Nope.
And you were watching the same video?
I was sitting right here.
Okay, so it was actually going on right here, meaning you were here when she called. Okay, and what happened?
We said goodnight, and I told her I'd pray for her, that they find Summer. Next morning.
When you hung up, let me ask her first, Tom, we'll get your answer here in a second. You're a mama bear, and a good one, okay? Grandma, you too. I'll ask your opinion. Women have an instinct. Okay? Men don't have it. Okay? Ask my wife. Okay? All right. What was your instinct? That night.
She killed her.
She killed her. I'll tell you why in a minute.
Okay, Grand Bun blurts out that she is alleging in her mind that Candus did something to Summer. Then Allie and them say, Allie says, I'll tell you why I think that here in a minute.
Why my instinct was that way. It was my gut feeling.
Leslie, what was your opinion?
Said it from day one.
Miss Leslie, what have you said?
She's done something to her.
Okay. That's a diplomatic way of saying something's happened to Summer.
Because it's like this, if that would have been one of my kids or my grandkids, the devil himself wouldn't be telling me, you need to get in your house. Oh, no. I'm going to go find my kid.
I know that about you. I can tell. So here's another question then. Is it possible that somebody could have snatched her?
Nope.
Not with 20 dogs on that property.
No.
Yeah.
There's 20 dogs.
Well, I've heard that number varies, right? I think there's a lot of dogs on the property, right? I mean,
There's about 20.
there's
Seriously, because she don't have her dogs fixed. And
there's 2 of them that keep me pregnant. And then my daughters had one of her dogs, and that dog was just too wild for the city.
right.
So she took her back. She ended up pregnant, and
there was 3 of them that had puppies all at the same time.
So there's a lot of dogs on that property. Okay.
Now remember this. There was puppies. We remember seeing puppies when Summer went missing. There was puppies everywhere. Now, Dawn said that all of the dogs ran away that day, right? They all went away and they all came back. Now, a mother dog is not going to leave her puppies. She's not going to go off in the woods for hours at a time and leave her puppies. So that is a big inconsistency that I have a problem with. I do not believe every dog conveniently just left that day when Summer went missing. I don't believe it. That's my opinion. But that is one thing that I have a problem with. We seen, you can remember hearing Dawn and Candus talking, and you could hear puppies whining in the back. There was supposed to be a couch in front of that door, yes, but I don't ever know what happened to the couch. When was that sword? Just like recently? I'll be honest with you, I've never put a lot of stock in Dudley's interviews, to be quite honest with you. Don's phone call only exists saying, let's be realistic. Very interesting.
Those dogs protect that property.
Yeah, I bet.
they protect those
And it's
kids.
kind of isolated up that road, isn't it? When you pull up there in the past, what do the dogs do?
They come running right down to the end of the driveway.
So
And they surround you.
they come down the driveway.
Yeah. And if they don't know you, they show their teeth. They're ready to eat you. Because when they were going up to Wisconsin, me and her neighbors, we were taking turns feeding the dogs because I lived on.
If there was anyone up at that property that day, in my opinion, those dogs would have barked. You would have known someone was up there, in my opinion.
In the city, and our neighbor was closer. Every time my mom would pull up the driveway, we were with her in the car. All the dogs would come running down, and I'd have to say, eat. you know, because they want to eat.
Miss Leslie, what's your opinion?
They want to eat.
I ain't never been up there because I don't like her long enough to go up there to see her.
Okay, fair enough. Fair
She
enough.
asked me to take her, and I said no. I'm not doing it.
I like Miss Leslie.
We're
He's a straight shooter, this one. I love
We're
it.
down the end of the driveway, and that was it.
Really? So, okay, so in your minds, there's something that has happened to her. That night, your opinion was, this doesn't look right. There's something wrong. Maybe she did something. Okay.
Or the boys might have done something, and they're covering it up.
Oh, maybe the boys
mean-
accidentally hurt her. What's your gut on that?
My gut's still aiming towards the mother.
Yeah.
Towards mom?
Even though the boys didn't
And
bring me
grandma.
to her, I still say it's the mother. There's just something in my gut that keeps telling me it's the mother.
And what are the theories that you're operating on? What kind of thoughts do you have?
You know how like when she used to smack her and she just got really evil with her. Like one day she grabbed her by the arm and just gave her that hateful look. Like, and then it all doesn't make sense either. Candus has a sister that's been missing for about 10 years.
Now, I think the sister, has nothing to do with Summer going missing personally. But, they, Grand Bun asked if, the boys could have been involved. I don't really speak on that, to be quite honest with you. But Allie says that she feels like it's more of Candus. And Allie and them know Candus. They stayed in the same house for quite a while. But they weren't getting along at this time either.
One night, a couple nights when she was drunk, when it came around the anniversary for her sister's disappearance and her birthday, her mom was in tears all day long, all night long, and she kept looking at her mom. What's wrong? I said, you know what day it is. Oh. You ain't Thursday morning. Wednesday TVI, there was the thing on Facebook, the TikTok video.
Okay.
Of Hunter and Summer swimming at the swimming hole.
Okay.
That Candus had posted.
Now this, she's talking about what Candus posted, and this is when Candus allegedly came over to Allie's house and talked with Hunter just a day or so after Summer went missing. This raises red flags to me.
And I was actually getting ready to go to work with Leslie. Because we had to be in at, 2 that day, I think? 3. That's getting to be 2:30, 2 o'clock. I'm like, should I wait here and contact the TBI? Because everyone's wondering who this kid is in the video. And she goes, we didn't really know what to do at the time. And next thing you know, my phone rings. And it's Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. They go, we're on our way out. Can we talk to Hunter? I was like, yes. So Hawkins County Sheriff's Department came out. They came out, investigated him, talked to him. And Leslie had to go to work. I told her, tell our boss I'll be there in a little while. I'm running late, and tell him why. Well, about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I'm getting ready to go to work like I was supposed to. And they call my phone again. We got more questions for Hunter. Okay. This time they came out with the TBI and the FBI. And they sat here and they nitpicked it.
Right here?
Yep. At the sale.
Mm-hmm.
They got Hunter's statement.
What were they nitpicking him on?
They were going in depths about and what their day was like,
Okay.
where they went and everything, what they do.
Okay.
So then,
Were you sitting here?
yep,
Okay. Okay. And then what happened?
I ended up taking the day off from work. Got pulled off my schedule at work.
That's kind of a crappy reason, huh? I mean, the fact that all this is going down and now he's in the middle of it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
So then,
Where do you, then what happened? Go ahead.
so then Thursday morning, I'm in the bathroom. Candus shows up. Walks in the house, starts asking Hunter.
Out of the blue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, why would Candus go to Allie's house and want to know what H said to TBI?
I asked Hunter, did they come talk to you yet? It's okay. Because I sent them to your house. I gave them your phone number and your address. I said I'm going to talk to you because of the TikTok video and stuff. And she goes, what'd you tell them? By the time I could get out there to him to see what more they were telling him about, they had left. They had gotten back in their truck and left. I immediately called the detective. It's like, listen, Candus was here with her mom. They're just asking my son what he told you guys. And he goes, give me a second, I'll call you right back. He calls me back and he goes, what were they driving? I said they were driving her mom's Silverado. He goes, thank you for that information. Because she shouldn't have been here. I said, my son, what he told you.
And what did Hunter say he said?
He goes, I just told him everything we did that day.
And what was her response?
Oh, okay.
That has always stuck out as odd to me. Why Candus came there and wanted to know what H said. And it's just very weird. Very, very weird to me. Why did she do that in person? Why didn't she just, why did she knows she wasn't supposed to be in contact with him. So she didn't do it on the phone because I'm sure that they were listening on their devices. And so she goes to the house and talks to H. And Allie clearly says that she didn't even hear the whole conversation. So, what did Candus say? It seems like Candus did not want. Yes. Bingo, Mohawk. I agree. Dear, hello. So, guys, I'm at 2 hours and 4 minutes. I will be back at 8 o'clock this evening. I'm going to schedule it. We're going to finish this at 8 o'clock this evening. I have to go finish some work that I need to do. I'll be here again at 8 o'clock this evening. Please set your reminders, and we will finish talking about this evening. I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you all tremendously. Please hit that thumbs up, as it is very important. Candus made a comment one night on a certain channel that it's been eating at me. She said, believe me, people are really going to be surprised at you. Thank you all. Appreciate your justice for Summer Wells. Amen. All right, guys. Love you all. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys at 8 o'clock p.m.